Welcome to the Grit and Grain podcast, where we explore and celebrate the craft beer industry, community, and history in Tacoma, Washington, and surrounding Pacific Northwest areas. Thank you so much for hanging out. Let's get to it. Welcome back to Three White Guys Talking About Craft Beer. Welcome to the Grit and Grain podcast. Coming to you guys from the Parkway Tavern in Tacoma, Washington. My name is Matt McLaren, and as always, I'm here with Ron Swarner.
Hello.
Hello, sir. And then Sean Jackson.
Hello, everybody. Party on.
Party on, Sean.
Yeah.
And Ron. I love it. That works. That's going to be something. It's going to be a tagline soon.
Nice.
And then we have an awesome, another special two-part episode because we just keep talking to people who have so much to say. And this person is especially in that category. Sean, who are we talking to today?
The one and only Professor Matt Coughlin. Currently from Double Mountain Brewing.
Hi, everybody. How's it going?
Great.
Fucking super bitchin'.
Good.
Super bitch.
I'm excited to be here. It's awesome.
So, Matt, when you walk into town, does everybody start calling you Matty again?
Well, it depends on who I see, right? So if I bump into Nick, he calls me coffee cakes. So it kind of depends. Yeah.
Before we get to anything, Matt, what are you drinking, man?
I am having the Single Hill on the road and a little bit of Fela Grisette.
Sweet. That's exactly what I'm drinking.
Exactly. Oh, right on.
I say Grisette, too.
Cool. Grisette. Let's call the whole thing off.
Sean, what do you got?
Also the Grisette with some Block 15 barley wine.
Because, of course.
2021 Hypnosis, I believe.
Man.
It's a beautiful color, man.
Yeah, it sure is.
Mm-hmm.
It's
She's
like
pretty.
Bright ruby. Like.
Whew, almost too pretty to drink. Not really.
That'll be my part two beer, I think. Ron, what do you have?
I also have the Single Hill, getting a lot of coconut.
It's a ton of coconut. Yeah. It's very Sabro heavy, and it's absolutely delicious.
Lovely.
As we've mentioned, it's fresh hop season. The Single Hill that we all just talked about is a wonderful fresh hop beer. Those guys are kind of the reigning champs of fresh hop production for the past year. They won like every award you can win last year, and then they're off to a great start with this one this year. So yeah, if you guys see any of their fresh hop beers around, try them. But if you see any fresh hop beer in general for the next like 4-ish or 5-ish weeks, try them.
Please, I beg you.
Because there's so many, and Sean and Ron need to move
so many
them.
IPAs. It makes me anxious.
Yeah, I've got fresh hop anxiety.
Totally.
Is that a thing? No, it's it's a lot coming into the market, and always try to be careful with what we got and what we get, and we know we're gonna miss some stuff. I mean, that's just
the way
I guess how we do it.
Yeah.
But it's also the most wonderful time of the year.
Fucking
it's
hate
so
it.
fun.
It's so fun.
Yeah, it's so fun. It's chaotic. It's chaotic.
It's high highs and low lows.
Yep, indeed.
my mood shifted like 5 minutes before we all sat down because I like fucked up on a fresh hop order because that's like how it is. It's so limited.
Yeah.
It's really time sensitive, and like I oversold something that was supposed to go somewhere else, and it's a lot of that for this like 6-ish week period. But then you're actually participating and drinking it, and it's like some of the best, most expressive, delicious beer that gets released all year, and it's high highs and low lows.
Amen.
At least for people on this side of the industry.
I can speak on the other side for sure. The same.
Yep.
We just did a collab on Monday, a fresh hop collab, and we were dialed in, set up, gonna get some Eldorados from Crosby, and we were super excited for them, and get a note from the representative there, and like, sorry, we had to pick the Eldorados last night. Like, they were peak. We had to do it. We had to go. We had to do it. It's like, thanks for letting me know.
Yeah.
What are you picking on Monday? And they were picking Crystal. And was like, well, can we do this beer with Crystal, or should we reformat the recipe?
Yeah.
And we were doing it with Kyle from Kings and Daughters. He also used to work at Double Mountain. So he's like, man, I mean, Crystal, but let's go back to the drawing table and see what we can do. So we had part A was let's redesign a recipe for crystal hops, and then let's put out some feelers and see what else we can get. But we ended up getting going to Roya Farms in Moxie and getting some Azakas.
Ooh, nice.
So real excited about that one. That one's gonna be fun.
Fresh orange marmalade flavor, dude.
So good.
Oh man.
Paired it with a little bit of Citra and a little bit of Mosaic, and
nice.
Use some B-glucosamine. It's an enzyme. I don't know. Science.
What are your other?
Oh, is that so everybody's been kind of messing with that recently.
Yeah.
Beta glucosinase, right?
Glucosinase, yeah.
Which you're using it for biotransformation hops, basically, right?
Exactly.
So you're increasing fermentability of the actual hops that you're throwing in. So it's drying out the beer, but you're also producing like extra ester, basically.
Indeed, yeah. And it kind of cleaves off some molecules to help release some more aromatics. And,
right.
I'm excited to see how it turns out. It's a bit of an experiment.
Sweet.
But
so that's been the season, right?
Yeah,
Tis the season.
I like the idea of using it with fresh hops. I didn't even think about that. Fort George has been messing with it a little bit here and there too. Their new R&D brewer, Matt, used to be a brewer in Tacoma, over at Narrows.
Mats are awesome.
I know. Mats are all awesome.
Some of my favorite.
Every Matt is a 10 out of 10, man. Yeah. But yeah, he's been messing with it. And he was like, dude, it's one of the most exciting things that I've been playing with is like pulling extra flavors out from like biotransformation, which in itself is like already kind of a new-ish technique when you're trying to like get flavor into beer. And now there's like additional enzymes and yeast that kind of play with that. And it's, I didn't even think about it in a fresh hop beer, but that's an awesome application.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of something we were knocking around, and now it just, we haven't done it yet and don't know what's going to happen with it, but I guess we'll see. I took a gravity of it this morning, and it smelled phenomenal. And day 2 of ferment.
Dang, dude. That's exciting.
Looking forward to it.
See, that's why this season is awesome.
Yeah, there's those wild cards, and where we going, like, oh my God, what are we going to do? Mm-hmm. Yeah, but and then we still had to make some tweaks the morning of, but that's what makes it fun.
So that's just for anybody who like who doesn't quite understand like the time frame of like fresh hops, like getting a phone call at like 8 a.m. from your partner farm saying, hey, we had to pick this fresh hop last night is pretty much too late. Like
absolutely,
it's too late.
Yep. And no, I'm not throwing blame on Crosby at all. They got to do what they got to do.
Yeah. They probably did the right thing. They picked it at peak and like are using it however they can use it. But for you guys, it means like, okay,
scramble.
That's it should have been in the beer by now.
Yep.
Like we need to figure out something else. Just so if you're not, if you're wondering why this season can be like so hectic, it's things like that. Like brewers have to go crazy trying to like find the time to figure out how to get these super fresh products into their beer immediately. Mm-hmm. And it can be an 8-hour miss, and you have to completely go back to the drawing board, like you said, which is crazy. But I'm excited to try your replacement beer.
Cheers.
And one of the reasons too, like this is just the God blessed best part of the country.
Yeah,
we are spoiled, rotten,
bloody fucking rotten.
So in Double Mountains and Hood River, Oregon, and we're like smack dab in the middle of like 2 hours ish from Yakima, 2 hours ish from Willamette Valley.
That's it.
I mean, which way do you go? I mean, this year we went
about how close you guys were to Willamette. Like, that's awesome.
Yeah,
that's
super
like,
cool.
Yeah, you're like right in the pocket, man.
Yeah.
We work with Ferment as well out of Hood River, and those guys have always done great fresh hop stuff.
Yep.
At least for the bit of time that they've been doing it. But I imagine it's because they're also just like smack dab in the pocket where you can hit both sides and get the best stuff.
Indeed.
So you brewed Killer Red, Killer Green, Killer Juicy. Mm-hmm. Did you do fresh hop pills this year?
That was a different product called, it was YCH Trial 301. Okay. It's that, the fresh hop cryo stuff. Yeah. Told you I was practicing on the way up.
Yeah, you got it, man.
Which takes fresh hops from, and these were from last year, of course, and they freeze them with liquid nitrogen, and that's how they were able to like ship them to New York or wherever. Mm-hmm. And they decided like, well, hey, we do the cryo process under this sort of cold temperature anyway. Let's see what happens. Yep. So, we got our hands on some of those, and we made a lager that was dry hopped with fresh hop cryo Simcoe.
What is your take on like the flash freezing or like cryo freezing of fresh hops to use for later dates?
Man, I was sort of hesitant because I am so spoiled, and we get to use things so fresh. I was like,
Why would you freeze it?
why would you freeze it?
Yep.
Let's just use it right here. It does have its implications, and honestly, those cryo were so awesome.
Yeah.
They were so. You guys, you all know what that fresh hop characteristic is, and it's something that you can't really put your finger. I can't really put my finger on, but there's something just kind of special about it. And maybe it's that moisture that has those extra terpenes or oils and fun in them, but it is different. And if you can make that available year round, why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
You know?
I remember, so for us, when we do our Fresh Hop Week, like, it used to be in years past, like, we were done when the Lagunitas Born Yesterday came up. Like, once that came up, we're done with fresh hops. Mm-hmm. And then they did the cryo, the Born Again yesterday.
Yeah.
And really, like, okay, we got to check this out.
Yeah.
But, very suspicious. Yeah, it had that freaking tingle. Like,
It
it
had
was
everything.
Fucking fantastic.
Yeah,
Tingle's
a
a
little
good
bit
way
of
to-
spiciness.
And this is
like-
being released in, I don't know what, May? Freaking.
Yep.
It was. So, yeah, like, oh boy, the technology and its advancement from when we started. Jeez.
Yup.
There's been a thing or two that.
We've come a long way, Padawan.
Yeah. Fucking A.
There's been like two pretty clear schools of thought on that. There's some people who are like, this is stupid, why would you do this? And then there are some people who are like, this is amazing. Obviously, a lot of the people who think it's amazing are people who are not in the Northwest and like don't
Right.
totally have the access to like hops right off of the vine the way that we do. For anybody who's unfamiliar with what we're talking about, again, fresh hop season, super wet, ripe hops that come right off the vine that don't get kilned. You can flash freeze those, and all of the oils and all of the aromatics and everything stays intact in the hop, and then you can use it and kind of get this, like we said, kind of like spicy, tingly fresh hop character any time of the year instead of just during like this short harvest season that we call fresh hop season. And a lot of people are like, this is goofy, why would you do this? Like, it doesn't, we can already get it here. But then there's like breweries in, New York who are like, this is fucking awesome, and now I can participate and, actually make beer that tastes like this. A good indicator of how spoiled we are. So we don't really think about how much of like an asset it is around this time of year to like be able to make beer like this, because it is so unique and season dependent. But there's like people on one side who are like, like, how come you can get fresher sushi in Chicago than you can in Seattle?
Right.
Like, you're right by the water. Oh, it's because like the second that shit leaves the water, it gets frozen, and you're not driving the 2 hours. The second those hops come off the vine, they're getting frozen. You're not driving for those 2 hours, and that's, I don't know. It's been like cool to see everybody experimenting with like Sean said, new technology, and I don't know. I'm curious to see where all of that goes.
Because it's fucking delicious.
Because it's delicious.
And
Yeah,
the curiosity there, like, let's say we're sitting down 5 years from now. Like, how many breweries are still time sensitively hauling ass over?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Oh God, I will. It's so much fun.
It is fun.
I love stress. I mean, it's just something like, if things are going smoothly, I don't really know how to act. Like, so I don't think it'd be my cup of tea either, but it'd be curious to see how many folks, like, given the opportunity, even with the ability to go get them fresh, are just like, yeah, no, why don't you?
Yeah.
Why
Just
don't you
FedEx
flash
me
me
my
shit in,
yeah.
you ship them to me, and I'll use them when I get them.
In my styrofoam container.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's sacrilege.
So, Matt, what brought you from Montana to Tacoma?
School. I went to school at PLU down there in Tacoma, and landed there with a music degree and minor in broadcast communications.
No wonder you're so fucking good at this already. Sitting down for 5 minutes. I'm like, God, you should probably
Cutting
do
edge
it.
course at the time.
Oh, cutting edge.
Only place in the nation that was offering it. Little known fact.
Seriously.
Yeah.
And then just
Tacoma.
I liked it out here, so I stayed, and been in the Northwest ever since. Since
And then you started homebrewing.
I started homebrewing, so I worked grounds crew for the college to kind of get through, and one of the lead guys, one of the foremen, was growing bullions in his yard and homebrewed. And he was like, I got some extra gear. You want to try it out? I was like, heck yeah, I do. So, that was my first foray into it. And then, it went downhill from there.
And you made a porter.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Made a porter. That was my first beer in the kitchen. Many homebrewers have probably had this experience as well, but like you start in the kitchen, you're like, yeah, this is going to be awesome. It's not going to make a mess at all, and you make a fucking mess. So, and then soon after that, you get moved to like the garage or the backyard or porch or whatever. Or
After one boil over, it wasn't a big deal, and it was clean when you got home.
Yeah, that's a tough range scrub right there.
Seriously, dude.
It's
not
ugly
fun.
really fast.
Just sugary water burning to your flat top, man.
But yeah, I made a couple of batches from this, that, and the other thing, and then I started working at a place. I actually wanted to be a brewer at this place called Rock Pasta Brewery, and spirits and pizza, wood-fired pizza. Because I don't know if you remember. Sorry, I know you know.
Matt, so that's actually where Sean and I met.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh, right on.
I washed dishes and bust tables for him when I was 17 at the fucking Rock.
Did we work together?
Why'd you leave? Why'd you leave?
It was probably your fault at some point.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, it was. Pat was there too.
Oh,
And
man.
then we just kind of randomly reconnected.
That's
when
awesome.
I dug into this industry
That's right.
like an idiot.
And then you would go next door to Buzzards and buy Matt's CDs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was such a special block at that time, man. That was just it was just so special. I still hang out with people that I met on that block during that point. I don't know what it was. It was just it was a team. It was a family. It was awesome. And it wasn't just our business. It wasn't just the Rock. It was Buzzards and it was the Swiss.
Totally.
It was really
Good
special.
old rock pasta back in that day.
Yeah, and I applied there because they had a brewery in that little corner where, and I was like, I'm gonna go brew there. and then I get hired. I go in there and I get hired, and I can't remember. It wasn't Mike at the time, but it was somebody else. Was it Mike?
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, and then
They got me in there to wrangled me the same fucking way.
just after I started, it leaves. Yeah, we're gonna go contract our beer from Fishtail. It's okay. It's all right. I still making beer. We found a way. But then meeting Sean and you were a long-haired hippie server at that time and
Yeah.
it was awesome. And we started chatting beer. Oh, you make some homebrew? Cool. I used to. So we started homebrewing.
Used to have try to make it for the crew and the friends is Bitter Uncle Tony's Revenge, and it was basically a weed infused Christmas ale, and then a weed infused barley wine, and it got better and better over the years. But last time finally freaking nailed it. Like got the great beer components and the THC extraction. Because first year was just none of the good extras, but the game got better.
What extras do you speak of, Sean?
Was it tetrahydrochloride?
I think so.
Yeah.
Nailed it.
But yeah, fuck yeah, I remember lots of quality time us making stuff.
There was lots of late nights. Late nights brewing, because that's when we had to brew, right? Was usually, we'd get off a shift and
Outside of service hours.
Yep.
One of the good ones too, like story-wise, as far as this time of year, was Shane. I think Shane had Doug was still the head brewer at E9, and Shane was the assistant brewer. And what the hops that used to be would become the hops for Spike's Harvest Ale. At that point, they weren't making it, so they got dropped off just on the vine. Trash bags and trash bags of hops.
Jesus.
And
we were happier than pigs and shit.
oh my good lord.
Oh my god.
And we probably picked for, so we get them home, because I think, or to your place, and started picking.
Yeah, it was when I was
getting
on
ready
South Pine.
Yeah. And started brewing, and after the picking, I think we started brewing probably at midnight. Mm-hmm. It was late.
Time sensitive, man.
And
Yeah, time sensitive. Got to use them.
cramming hops into every part of the process we could, and we still had so many hops left.
I think we kind of just gave up picking at that point. We're like, can we put more in there? I don't know.
We kept picking, and then I think we transported them to my house, and I had like a whole room upstairs that was empty, and we were gonna try to get some airflow
Yep.
and
We
kill
put some
them
fans
up
on
there.
them. Yeah.
And
That's
killing
it.
them in your in an attic.
Well, no, it would have worked. That was the thing. Like, we had to work. Like,
Sure.
that time sensitive thing. Like, there was a day there where, we could have processed them, but then it didn't happen. So we just had a lot of fucking garbage to put in the yard waste bin.
Oh, bummer.
But then that beer, I believe, got bootlegged into
I know not of
Red
what you
Hot
speak.
and the Parkway Tavern.
I know not of
And
what you speak.
because we were good. We would present our ledger for our cost of goods, and like, obviously not being a business, we couldn't make money, so it was just covering cost of goods, and I'm sure it was all above the board. But
100%.
Of course it was.
yep,
100%. And the name of our little backyard brewery was Our Lady of the Hop.
Yeah.
In name of the water, the malt, and the hops, and the yeast. Amen.
yeah.
I mean,
Yep.
we made a design and everything, and
Yeah.
stickers, and the sparge arm. That was one of my favorites. And like any home brewer, you kind of like buy new pieces of equipment. But one thing we never really got was a proper sparge, because we started with the colander, kind of going around in circles with the. And then
I'm still doing that.
I can't remember if it was
God damn it.
all you need is a those shower things that you can undo and like spray underneath your arms and your nether
Yes.
bits and whatnot. All you need is one of those and a broomstick and a couple of old computer towers, and you just stack it all on top of each other and duct tape it to it, and then it works great. And then you run a hose from that to the inside in the hot water where the hot water is, so you can dial the temperature in. I have a picture of that somewhere. I gotta dig it up.
Dude, this
It was
shower
janky
head
as
thing
hell.
is so smart.
But you could
was
stand
awesome.
Yeah.
Those are like $20. I've never thought about that.
It was fucking awesome.
Again, ahead of our time.
Yeah.
I'm
our
like
time.
a dummy planning to like drill holes into PVC. I could just be using a fucking cheap
Especially
shower
those
head.
ones that you have that have like 18 different settings, Like,
Yeah.
gentle shower. Strong mist.
There's no rinse grain setting.
I remember part of that, like the first bonus I ever got. We went down to Beer Essentials, and Blickman had just released the
the
top of the line
Ferminator.
stainless steel Ferminator. Yep, actual like design, like no more carboys, like
Yep. It had ball valves.
ball valves, like real brewery.
Racking arm.
Yep.
You still have that?
I do.
Sweet.
It ended up being a yeast brink at E9 for a
nice.
number of years,
Oh,
and
shit.
recently was returned to the garage, where it is not in any shape to ever do anything ever again.
A valuable heirloom at
Yeah.
this point.
I can't get rid of it though.
No, hell no.
Sentimental
That's
junk.
badass.
Yeah.
Can't get rid of that.
That's a come up for a homebrew set.
Yeah. It
Yeah.
should be like a trophy of something, Like down the road, like, you won the Ferminator. The Ferminator Cup. I don't know. We'll talk. We're spitballing here.
Or you get dunked into the Ferminator like a swirly.
Ooh, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You say reward, I say punishment. Two different approaches.
Fair. All right.
God damn it.
Yeah, we snuck beer in Parkway a couple times.
Yeah. I think
Probably wasn't the first time.
one of the best compliments we got on our beer was from Big D, and I remember we came in. And I think it was maybe Hop Manna or Hop Messiah or one of those two iterations of things, and we brought it in. We're like, yeah, everybody just check it out. We made this stuff. All excited. And D takes a sip and he's like, well. Doesn't taste like a homebrew.
Dude,
All right.
Highest
that feels
compliment.
really
yeah.
good to hear.
Amen. Yeah.
It's like
we had beer on at IPA Fest.
Yeah.
Somewhere there's some sheet that's got us listed on there.
I still have it.
Fuck yes.
Yeah, I should have brought that little book because I kept notes of all of our brews, like extensive notes to where like, oh, you don't need to write that down, but I wrote it down anyway. Yeah, that was fun. It would be fun to recreate some of those recipes one day, and some of them actually I looked back at them like, hey, that could work. That could work. You know.
that could translate to a big system.
Yeah.
We're going to take a super quick break, and we will be right back. Welcome back. Once again, as always, we want to give a quick shout-out to Channel 253. Doug, our wonderful producer, is Channel 253, and he's the reason our podcast sounds far more professional than what you might expect from the three of us. But Channel 253 is a wonderful collection of podcasts run by local community leaders and community members discussing all of the topics and issues that you would find important if you are a member of this community and need to stay informed and connected. You can do both of those things by supporting Channel 253, going to channel253.com/membership. Please go check them out and join their membership program if you can, because it's a great way to stay connected. And yeah, thanks as always, Doug. Thank you. All right. We have fresh beer in our glasses, and I want to talk about it for a second. Matt, what do we have?
We have Killer Juicy. This is an E case. Because we just bottled it this morning. So
super fresh. So it's a few hours old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Got the last couple cases off the line and then hopped in the car to come up here.
Sweet.
Chat with y'all.
So what's in it?
This is Strata.
Nice.
From Crosby.
Right on?
Yeah. And they were just, I love Strata. The fun part about fresh hops is realizing that they're different. And I realize that like that's one lot of Strata. But,
Totally.
if you go to Hop Selection and you get like 6 lots of Strata, they're all can be, slightly different. So it's always kind of fun to get what you get and you don't throw a fit when you get down there, right? Sure. But these Stratas were juicy little pearls. They're not a very big hop, but they were oily on the outside, and you could. So we have a reefer truck that goes down there, and apparently we bought a lot of Strata this year. They were like, oh, you're coming back for more, okay? We made 2 runs, but as soon as the truck got to the brewery, because we send a runner first. I mash in, whoever mashes in, and then so by the time that truck comes back, like
Hops are ready to go in. Yep.
And as soon as that truck pulled up, I was like, they're here. It was awesome. So yeah, super happy with the way this one turned out.
Dude, it's awesome, man.
Yeah, cheers.
The like super rich lime zesty kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Without being sharp, it's like super juicy still and has that spicy, tangy, like
the fresh hop tingle, baby.
Mm-hmm.
That's killer.
The tingle. It's hard not to think of that now. That you guys said it. I feel far less professional saying that, but it's what it is. It's a fresh hop tingle.
I like feeling the tingles in my mouth.
That's why I have to stay 100 yards away from playgrounds.
It's actually
we get it, Sean.
500. So read your own paperwork, bro. It's 500.
Matt Coughlin,
Yes,
the
sir.
golden child at Tacoma's Coffee Rock,
Oh, geez.
recently slimmed down his band to a tight trio with Sam Collins on bass and Dalton Shotwell on drums, offering a musical style that's a little bit Dave Matthews, Jack Johnson, and live. Every now and then, again, we think we hear a little Toad the Wet Sprocket,
Oh, I like that.
and he truly delivers songs that touch on themes of love, joy, and pain, to which everyone relates. That was written in the Weekly Volcano in 2005.
God dang.
It's very
By
sick.
who?
By Angie, I believe.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, Angie.
Yeah.
Right on.
Yeah.
Man.
So talk about your times as Matt Coughlin and the Growlers.
Oh, geez. Yeah, it started out as like the Matt Coughlin Band and then went into the Matt Coughlin and the Growlers, I guess.
Wonderfully appropriate name. by the way.
Yeah, well, that was the idea, right? And, you know, I was trying to tie in some things. Like I said, I went to school to get a music degree, and I worked at places like The Rock and El Camino and Dre and the Yard to like support my music habit. You know, they offered that sort of flexibility, and I don't know really what my goal was, but the goal was to hustle and, you know, play as much music as I could, and got together with some fun folks to do so. I don't know. And I, again, speaking to that time of the block, that was such a supportive crew, because it's if anybody's ever done it before, it's frightening to like put songs that you've written in front of other people. It's terrifying.
Which is more
it's fun.
terrifying, putting beer you've made in front of other people or putting songs you've written in front of other people?
Songs, 100%.
Really?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I don't write songs. I could have answered that.
That's a good question, though.
At least there's a framework
One's
for
really
beer.
fucking easy.
Yeah. That's a good question, though, and I think I'll think about that
I'm
a lot
terribly
more.
self-conscious about
But-
the beer I make, so it might be worse.
And I am too, but at least I think you know if, and maybe this will translate to some sort of musical understanding, but at least you know in beer, like if you have quality ingredients and you keep everything clean, it's going to be drinkable. You're going to be fine.
Word.
But I don't know, maybe not the same for music, but maybe. I don't know.
No, you're probably right. Doug would know too.
Well, no, because sometimes you got to keep it dirty. Is the
It's your whole MO,
clean
Sean.
isn't really. It's a good bit of it for sure.
Well, you certainly packed Chocobra, Panamonicas, Jazz
Man,
Bones, the
I miss
Swiss.
Pan Monica's.
So do I. That was
Yeah.
a fun place. That was a fun time.
Yeah, it was.
No TVs, just conversation and music.
And I just it was a really fun time to be able to get into that scene with all those places, and I don't know how, but get to open up for really awesome people at Panamonicas and Jazz Bones. You know, I'd get that phone call and like, hey, we need a local opener.
I think I saw you open for James quite a few times.
James Whitten.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
him and Danny Godinez, their shtick was like, we're just gonna get together and not rehearse, and we're just gonna play some music for it. And it just always blew my mind. Eric McFadden, I got to open for
Eric
him a couple of
McFadden.
times.
Yeah,
What a great show
yeah.
he puts on.
So is that one of the reasons why you went to Double Mountain? Because Matt's love for music?
I definitely did not hurt. That's for sure. So
Because you did a lot of music series, a lot of
Yeah.
musical beers.
yeah, and that's gonna continue. And for sure. So I think I got kind of burned. I got burned out on trying to hustle as a musician and make it as a musician. It's hard. I was doing casino gigs, and although they were fun, it's like meh. And it just didn't. It wasn't what I was wanting to do. Looking back on it, that was a great opportunity and gave me a lot of chops for sure. Of like, hey, we're doing this song on Friday. It's Thursday, so learn it.
Good luck.
So there was a lot of value in that, but I was done like with the Twitters and the Facebooks and bookers and posters, and
Yeah.
I wasn't spending time doing what I wanted to do, which was just playing music.
Well, it was more like MySpace.
It was, and I had a MySpace.
Chill the fuck out, Ron.
Yeah, I had MySpace, and then
You're not that young, bro.
my wife was going down to. She worked at a farm in Hood River, Tuckerdow Farm, and they threw a festival called Wedstock, and it was just a farm festival, but it was a blast. You were there. It was a lot of fun. It was a very organic sort of thing, and Swihart, the owner of Double, played in the band with one of the people that owned the farm. So there was, Double Mountain beer there. And one night after a couple beers, I was like, I'm going to come work for you. And I didn't. I was still living in Tacoma, and I think when we decided to make a move out of the big city and chose that area, and hit him up and was like, "Hey, I'm coming to the area. You got a job for me?" So, and that was 11 years ago.
Great move on his part. Well, if a Matt can't trust a Matt, like, what do we have in this fucking world, right?
Right.
Where's our solid ground?
I hear you.
There's so many Matts I don't trust. There's so many. There's like 3 that I like.
That's your
And
fucking
I'm not
people,
one of them.
bro.
I'm not one of them.
Way to bring your people down. Jeez.
And so now you have the Night Farmers.
Yeah, so I'm planning a couple little things around there. So I guess what happened was I wanted to switch gears, and I always really liked making beer, and I wanted to enjoy music again, and I have still been playing music, and I'm playing bass in a country band, which is a lot of fun, especially just I show up and they hand me a set list. And
Is it a broom handle, a string, and a tub?
no, I have my own bass now and everything. I'm a real boy. And I'm every once in a while get together with some folks from this area and play in a band called Los Guys, and do some solo stuff here and there, and play for my kids a lot. And I have a piano in the kitchen. I recommend a piano in everybody's kitchen. It's so much fun. So much fun.
Yeah. You're a good papa. I remember. I remember at Timber, like listening to you put your kids to bed, and you're reading the stories, and you're doing all the different voices. Like, oh yeah, and then the little singing, like, good fucking Lord.
I learned about the voices pretty quick, though. You got to keep track of all the voices, because then they call you out, and they're like,
Oh yeah,
that's not what Hagrid sounds like. Sorry, I'm just really tired tonight.
How long were you in Tacoma before you moved over to Hood River?
About 10 years, yeah.
Yep.
About 10 years.
with a little break in between.
Just a hot second for a little traveling around, selling some pots and pans, playing some music. That one.
Well, I was thinking about a little bit of living across the street from the baseball field and maritime break.
True. Yes, that was 9, 10.
Yep. Sounds to me.
Yeah.
Other than
that's right.
figures.
Right. Yeah. I did that. We did that break. We moved to Seattle and then got into. Yeah, that was when I started working at the El Camino and Maritime.
Yep.
Yeah.
And to confirm, you did not overlap with Roger from Georgetown at the El Camino?
Did not. No.
Is that right? Okay.
Yeah, did not. Don't.
But it
think
is
so.
funny that it's now becoming a hub
I know.
of like
It's wild.
insane beer industry talent.
Yeah. Yeah. I cleaned their lines there for a little while too, because they had a really weird setup.
Yeah.
And I don't know. So I cleaned taps here for a little bit with Shane and Sean.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And god dang, that is a job. But it's a job, and it's so important. Like, I still clean taps to this day, right?
Yep.
I mean, why wouldn't you be a brewer at a brewery? Like, I'm gonna make sure my lines are clean.
Of course.
But it is such an important thing. Such an important thing.
Oh, yeah.
So underappreciated and undervalued.
Most thankless job ever.
Bethany on recently, and it is for sure the most thankless job.
Yeah.
Like, and she's like one of the most reputable
Yeah.
business owners and line cleaners in this area, and it's like terrible how thankless that job is.
Mm-hmm.
But beer tastes as good as it does because of that work.
Yep. And that's one of the scary things about sending your babies out into the world, right? Mm-hmm. You're like, here you go, little guy.
Yeah.
I
Good
remember
luck.
Tastes good.
kind of the beginning of my E9 career. New Belgium launched a program, and they were sending. I think Jamie was coming out into the industry, and he was like employee number like 3 or 4. But they were actually swabbing taps, and like the whole thing was to push people to get their freaking lines clean. It was huge. Like, they put a lot of money and a lot of time into it, and not sure if there was a lot of fruits from that labor, but boy, howdy. Lots of draft cleaning seminars. I know Shane and Doug had attended a couple of those, and we got some impromptu classes, sort of at E9. But, yeah, they actually spent the time and money to make a big push on, because Fat Tire was definitely one of those beers that, with a little bit of neglect, you're tasting a very different product.
So different.
I feel like they were still checking all the way up to the pandemic. I would see New Belgium once in a while come in and take
Swab
Do a little swab.
Yeah, take a look
good
at
for
these.
them.
That's
Put
awesome.
a white Q-tip in and pull a black one out.
Because the whole thing was you get your swab and you get your analysis, and there's the sort of the support, like, hey, this is what's going on. You get the education, and then it was sort of like the idea was you come back and do a checkup, and then at some point, you're on the fucking ban list.
Oh, hell yeah.
We're not selling you beer,
Yep.
which was bold and awesome, and I guess we'd have cleaner taps if a lot more places did that.
I frequently get phone calls from places that want to buy beer from me, and if it seems like I would pull a dirty Q-tip out of their tap lines, I generally ignore them.
I think that's solid, man. I mean,
I fucking
as a I respect that because that's what I want. I want a clean tap line,
of course.
but I want it to taste exactly like this. Exactly like what I poured at the brewery.
Anywhere.
So that's why I taste beer, taste Double Mountain beer when I go out. It's fun to try it. And they're like, why are you drinking your own beer? Well, R&D.
Quality control,
Quality control.
motherfucker.
QC.
I'm making a naughty list. Best not be on it.
Indeed.
Maritime.
So good.
Yeah.
God damn it.
Yeah.
Working
Maritime.
with the George Hancock.
Yeah.
Pioneer. One of the first of the first, right?
Indeed. So I worked at the older brewery on the corner there, 45th and Gilman, I think. Was that where it was?
Of course.
Yeah. And
Duh.
and it had the red tile floors and fun stuff. It was a fun place to learn. I learned a lot of things. I wouldn't see George much. He was kind of in and out, and would walk through, and everybody would hush. And but there was a couple of folks there I learned a lot from. I was just in the cellars. I was scrubbing kegs. I was cleaning kegs. I was scrubbing things. I was scrubbing things, and then I scrubbed things.
That's the most concise description of that fucking job I've ever heard. That's seriously all it is.
And then I yanked some hoses.
Yeah.
Shovel out grain, scrub things, scrub things.
I didn't even get close to the brew stand. Not even I would maybe peer over the edge and be like, there it is over there. They
I can smell the mashing.
They kept me over there. It was a fun place to work. And back in those days, they didn't have spray balls in the tanks, in the bright tanks, and the bright tanks were all in this cold room. And so when it's time to clean a tank, who gets inside? The low guy.
Yeah.
And
Sean gets inside.
So you make sure it's aired out and all that kind of fun stuff, or close.
Most
to
of
it.
the time, you
Most
make
of the
sure
time.
it's aired out.
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't, and then you almost die.
It's definitely. But you know what? The inside of a 15-barrel bright tank is really awesome acoustics. So I get in there and just sing my little heart out and scrub away. It was a lot of fun. Did a lot of that and filling kegs and cleaning kegs, and their IPA used to be every keg got a dry hop. So I look back on it like, there's 40 kegs going out today. So here's a stem puller. Get to it. Everything. So you're weighing out little muslin sacks of 3 ounces of Chinook, or I honestly can't even remember what hop it was.
You're probably right.
Probably right.
You're probably right. That was the Mac and Jack's formula too, man.
Yeah.
That's why they had bungs on their kegs for so
Yeah.
long, so they could
Oh,
staple a fucking tea bag of hops to it.
Well, this was so they were moving away from those Hoff Stevens kegs, but still wanted to dry hop their kegs. So man, a little line tied to the keg stem, and
And
drop
that's
that
what
in
you
there.
and I did.
Yeah,
Like we were pulling stems on
yeah.
actual Sankey 6 barrels, but it's cute, when you're doing 2. It's not fucking cute. When
Super
you're,
different when you got 40.
Yeah, and cleaning them out too. Like I remember keg washing an E9 and having a keg run through that had a hop sack in it that I forgot, and then running it through the keg washer, and
that's a lot of fun.
yeah, it's so much fun. You know what makes a cleaning job better? When you have to clean up the fucking cleaning job so that you can clean some more. Yep.
It's like a shitty realization. Like,
Yeah.
oh, my day just got way longer.
Yep.
Go for it, Ron. What? Okay. Yeah, fuck. The fresh hop was delicious.
Right on. Cheers. Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks.
So I have a question. You do a lot of pulling of levers and not a lot of button pushing still at Double
yeah.
Mountain.
Oh yeah, yeah. There are no mash rakes. There are. I have some pumps. That's cool.
But no wonder you were sweaty today.
Yeah, it's one of the reasons I really like the system. It's a glorified homebrew system. It's 20 barrels, but it's definitely a lot of brewer's intuition. With the addition of some flow meters and pH meters and some extra tools that I have to use to dial things in, but that's why I like it. One person's mash in might be 13.2 gallons per minute at 168, and mine might be 12.8 gallons at 167 to hit the same process. And that's I really enjoy that aspect of it.
Every brewery has its quirks.
Yeah. And man, mashing out, and I admire those people who are like, yeah, I just worked a full day and now I got to go to the gym, or I'm going to go to the gym before I go to work. And I get done with work and I'm like, hell no. I'm going to sit my ass down, rest for a little bit, or like days
I've
off.
been manually lifting bags of grain.
Yeah.
Because all of you do all the jobs, right?
And that's the other thing, that I really like about this job is it's definitely not the same thing every day, and especially after the span I've been there, you get your fingers in a lot of things. But that's the idea, is to do all the jobs. And
Why would you say it like that? You could have said literally anything else.
I woke up really early this morning.
Fair enough.
You not like hands and fingers and things?
Could have literally said anything else.
Now I'm blushing.
Give me a roll
Is
at
it-
that one. Bet I can make it worse. Things
fingers
in
and
things.
things.
Let me ponder that.
Is it warm in here?
Yeah.
What were we talking about?
Sorry, beer. We were talking about beer
okay.
things.
Yeah. Yeah, the brew house.
Yeah, it's good. It's got its quirks, but I enjoy the physical aspect of it. I love the kind of combination of manual labor and science and creativity, and that place offers all that, which is fun.
That was the last place when we brewed our house beer that we had to do so much work.
Yeah.
Now it's just pushing buttons.
But what I appreciated is that you guys did it. There's some of those collabs where like, all right, we'll show up, we'll have a Bloody Mary and a couple beers, and then take a picture of me throwing a handful of hops in, and then peace. But you guys were you were in it to win it.
We were. It
I
was
like that.
fun. Cool Camp IPA.
Yep.
Named after your favorite hiking spot.
Yep. That was awesome. Parker was there at Cool Camp. They actually took a couple of the other guys, Justin and Patrick, did that trip again and took some Cool Camp up there with them in a
nice.
in a little like a bladder. What do you call them? What am I?
Camelback?
Yeah, camelback sort of thing. Anyway,
Yeah.
is it getting worse?
No, it's all right. We're only halfway done, man.
All right, yay! Cool. Super awesome.
Speaking of which, we're just about out of time for part one. So we're gonna crack some fresh beer. And then Ron, I think, is going to take us out.
All right, Grit and Grainers, email us at cheers@gritandgrainpodcast.com with your comments, opinions, and overachieving beers, such as Guinness Extra Credit. We read and drink everything we receive, and we'll try to respond as quickly as we can, if not online, then on air. You can subscribe to Grit and Grain on Apple Music, Spotify, Google Play, iHeartRadio, and Stitcher. And please leave us a review. Also, check us out on Channel 253 and gritandgrainpodcast.com. Be sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter for advice dealing with two grunting lug nuts 2 rows back after they had a couple arm-punching porters, and it's only 9 a.m., and the plane is full, and they're belching and snorting and laughing too loud. And after reading our advice, you manage to refrain and hold yourself in check and breathe deep and avoid turning and hurling tiny plastic hands lodged onto your pencil eraser at their rude mutant moron faces, because you're enlightened and at peace, and there's only a half an hour left, and it's not just worth it to coat yourself in psychological Teflon and sit back and just imagine throwing tiny little plastic hands and maybe that smoke detector you completely tampered with in the lavatory. If this podcast is not what you expected, please alter your expectations. For some reason, there are no lasagna-scented candles. No such thing as bad time to visit Tacoma. No such thing as too much barley wine. Tune in next Friday for more sweet chatter with Matt. Cheers.
Cheers.
Guess what's for dinner at my house tonight? Fucking lasagna. Here we go.
Took me a second. Thanks again for tuning in. Don't forget to follow us at Grit and Grain Podcast wherever you get your social media, and catch new episodes every Friday. Cheers.
Grit and Grain is part of the Channel 253 podcast network. Check out our other shows: Nerd Farmer, Interchangeable White Ladies, Move to Tacoma, Crossing Division, Citizen Tacoma, What Say You, We Are Tacoma, Flounders B Team, and Taco Man.
This is Channel 253.